you've heard a lot of, oh, this is way up there, there we go. You've heard a lot about Bob's rowing prowess, and he was not ever one to brag about it, so he never let me brag about it, but now that he's gone, I'm going to brag about him. He also, as you've heard, when he asks you something, you have a hard time saying no. So more than once he's asked me to speak at things I didn't want to speak at, and here I am again. And 3.5 years ago he asked me if I'd be the president of Whatcom Rowing, and here I am again. I'm still the president of Whatcom Rowing because Bob asked me and I couldn't say no. So he had a very impressive rowing career that spanned 60 years. He started rowing at UW in 1958 for Al Ulbrichtson. As for those of you who have read or seen the movie Boys in the Boat, that was the coach for that 1936 Olympic team, and that was his first coach. He rowed there 3 years, and he and his team were undefeated in those 3 years, so that really fueled his love for rowing. He later came back, as you know, to Bellingham, and he took over, there was one coach ahead of him that it was still a very new program at Western Washington University, and he took over as head coach there, where he coached for 6 years. And they won some small college championships and won many races. 2 of his athletes from those years went on to make the Olympic team. So he was an incredible mentor and coach there. In 2003, he was inducted into Western Washington University's Athletic Hall of Fame. I met Bob in 1989 when I coached at Western, the varsity women's crew there, and he just liked to keep in touch with how Western was doing. But Bob wasn't done rowing yet. By now, masters rowing had grown. So in his mid-50s, in 1992, Bob took up rowing again. And not in a little way, in a big way. He ended up rowing at national championships where he won several championships, world championships, as Brandon already said, in Australia. He won a gold and 2 bronze medals at the 1994 World Masters Championships, and again in 1998 in Portland, he won 2 medals. So he was a really impressive rower and a real talent. His combination for rowing, his love of rowing and the community-oriented mindset fueled him to start this dream of a rowing club, and which he started in 2011, as Zop has alluded to, and he roped many of you in here to help build this building, and I'm sure you've got good stories about that as well. We started out with a handful of boats that he had acquired and others, and they were in a chain link fence. We didn't have the boathouse built yet, but we were already starting to row, and then eventually got this beautiful building, which was not full when we got it, and now, as you can see, we have boats, outside that we had to move to make room for the food and everything. So every step of the way, Bob was the driving force to every gain we made there. And initially, it was adults only. After just a few short years, we started introducing it to juniors, so high school and even junior high kids started getting involved, which was just thrilling to watch. And I can tell you that nobody got more excited than Bob when he would see somebody that started here as a high school or junior high kid and then go on. I know, I see John Perry, Eliza Perry, his daughter rows now at the University of Washington. She's rowed at the head of the Charles. She's been so successful, and every time she would win another race or do something right, Bob would call me, Courtney. He just gets so excited that these people that started rowing at this rowing club are now, going on to great things. And I think it thrilled him, and I don't think it can be overstated the influence that he's had on this community and all the people that have come, both juniors and adults, through this program over these years. Some of us that it means a big difference in our lives, and others who just came through for a short period of time. His influence was just enormous. And so his legacy, a few years ago, we wanted to recognize all that he's done for our club, and we had fundraised and we got a new 4, and we said, Bob, we really want to name this boat after you. And, again, he downplays and he said, no, don't name it after me. Name it after Connie. She's had to put up with this rowing stuff for so many years. So Connie has a boat named after her here, the Constance Diehl. Well, Bob doesn't. So we're changing that today. We would like to dedicate, and Courtney, is she here? I want to pull this off here. We have ordered the signs. We are naming the boathouse after Bob Diehl. So this, yes. Unfortunately, although Courtney's consistent prodding, they were not able to get the signs built before this memorial, but there will be one sign here on the lake side and another one on the street side. It'll say Whatcom Rowing Association, the Robert C. Diehl Boathouse. So in perpetuity, we will have Bob's name up here, and that was a unanimous decision by the board. And everybody realized it couldn't be named anything else. So yes, thank you, Connie, for all you put up with for this rowing. We do additionally have a plaque in the boathouse. We have, we started a few years ago, the Robert C. Diehl, Bob Diehl Legacy Award for the person who, because we're largely volunteer, run as well, for who put in the most time and effort to help grow the club and continue to improve the club. And that started a few years ago, so he has that sign here. But shortly after, Bob had his own single at their house, their lovely house on Cherry Lane, that he wrote occasionally. And after his passing, Connie said, "I'm donating that single to the club. Bob would want that." And so that's what we have right here. So, of course, we have decided to name that, as Connie's written, the Bob Diehl. And this is it's his lovely rowing single right here, which we are going to christen today. We do have, we also are going to take it out for a row. You will see a lot of people around with gray sweatshirts that say Whatcom Rowing. There's a lot of us here that are part of the rowing club right now. So I'm going to invite them up right now to come and get some flowers, and we're going to start taking those down. But first of all, I'd like Connie to, Drew, if you can, and we'll christen the boat. We have a vase full of Lake Whatcom water, as is our tradition, to christen the boat. And it's tradition in rowing that, at least at our rowing club and most places, when you give a boat a new name and a new home, that you christen it, either with champagne or water, and then take it out for its new row. And so Connie is going to christen the boat at this time.
Okay, ready?